Okay, good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone enjoying your night so far? Cool. Okay, just by ways of quick introduction, my name's Jonathan Hart, and I'm a technical architect from the South African MTC. Now, just a bit of background, what the Microsoft Technology Centers do is we help our customers with their digital transformation journey. We offer immersive experiences through experiences like this. This is what we call an envisioning center experience, where we have different office spaces, different locations to help showcase our tools in action from multiple devices. We also offer a wide variety of deep technical experiences, hands-on labs, workshops, and we've got numerous locations around the globe. Now, what I'm going to be taking you through today is the evolution of the Power Platform. And it's going to be a lot from my point of view and my experience over the last couple of years. Now, to start off on this journey, we've got to go back to 2007. There, I started at an organization and we were implementing SharePoint for the first time. And one of the things we started doing was digitizing paper-based forms. And back then we used a tool called InfoPath. Now, who's worked on InfoPath? Who's still working on InfoPath? Okay, that's good. InfoPath is going the way of the dodo. Now, InfoPath was a great tool. It did the job. We were able to digitize these forms. And we were able to take, remember my first form was a leave application form. Take it, pull it into SharePoint, and it worked great. Next, we wanted to start with the workflow automation. And for that, we used SharePoint Designer. Once again, everyone familiar with SharePoint Designer workflows? Great. Now, we had been using SharePoint Designer to help customize the look and feel of SharePoint, and that worked really well. And then we started building out workflows, and we were able to start digitally transforming our organizations. And this was way back in 2007. Fast forward a couple of years. Back in 2015, I started at Microsoft, working in the Technology Center. And yeah, once again, we were helping customers digitally transform. Even today, in South Africa, there are still a lot of organizations that are still very reliant on paper. So, step forward a year, 2016, we released a great tool. Whoa. Sorry. Called Microsoft Forms. And Forms was a real game changer, because this was the first time anyone in the business could start generating digital forms. Very easy user interface to use. You would populate your question, the type of question it was, whether it was multiple choice, true or false, and you immediately had these forms built out. Now, all the data from these forms got stored in an Excel spreadsheet, which worked for some solutions, but not for all. More or less at the same time, we released Microsoft Power Apps, and specifically focused on the Canvas-based apps. And this was a real game changer, because now we're able to build mobile and browser-based applications without having to write code. Now, for those of you that don't know, the expression language that you're using in Power Apps is based off of the expression language used in Excel. So what that means is people from the business who understood how to work with Excel were able to pick up Power Apps very quickly. So we started to build apps for our customers, started getting them to digitally transform. At the same time, we released Microsoft Flow. The user interface on Flow was very easy to use. You're dragging and dropping controls and steps to help automate workflow processes inside your organization. So we saw a lot of opportunity around these two products. So we started running what we call App in a Day workshops. Who's attended App in a Day workshops here? Okay, so there are a couple of you. Now, what we do in App in a Day is we take an audience of people from an organization and we take them through building their first application. It's a device ordering app, and attaching an approval workflow to this application. And this worked great. Though when we first started with it, we were targeting people from the technical side of the business. People from IT and people from development. And this worked great, but they became the bottleneck inside the organization. They couldn't keep up with the demand from business. So we changed our approach, and we started bringing people from HR, people from finance, people from operations. And we started teaching them how to use the tools. The amazing apps that these guys were coming up with were incredible. So we saw a lot of value inside of this. And then we introduced hackathons. So we started off on day one. If an organization was new to Power Apps, we would teach them the fundamental skills. Then day 2, day 3, and day 4 was spent where the audience would start solving 4 challenges that they had in their business. By the end of the week or the end of the workshop, they would walk away with anything from 5 to 20 prototype solutions that they would then go and implement back into business. Now, the platform was great, but it still had its limitations. And one of the things that really changed the game was introducing model-driven apps. Now, the key difference between Canvas-based and model-driven, Canvas-based apps, you've got full control of the user interface. You control every single pixel on that canvas. You get it to lay out exactly the way you want it to. Model-driven apps is slightly different. This is where traditional low-code development platforms come from. You work from the data layer up. Model-driven apps is reliant on what we call the common data service. Now, the common data service, think of it as a database in the cloud that has a very rich defined schema. This is made up of entities that are associated with specific business processes. So you would have, for example, an account entity. In that account entity, you would have the typical properties associated with an account. Things like address, account name, account number, and so on. So with model-driven apps, what you would do is you would decide on your entities that you are going to be using, your dashboards that you want to populate, and it goes and generates the user interface for you. For those of you who have worked with Dynamics 365, the interface is very similar to a Dynamics 365 interface. And when we introduced this into our hackathons, we started to see people building out multi-layered applications. Say, for example, they were developing something to capture expenses. They would have a Canvas-based app for end users to capture their expenses into the common data service. Then they would have a model-driven app to handle the admin process in the back end. And this started to have a lot of impact, but there were still a lot of challenges. We kept on being asked, when are we going to be able to allow external guests to be able to access these Power Apps that we're developing? And then we introduced Power Apps Portals. Now, what Power Apps Portals is, it's actually moved along from Dynamics 365 Portals with some additional functionality built in. But this gives people the ability to build websites using low code. So simple drag and drop interface, lots of templates populated that you can build out, but you can build out these websites and publish them outside of your organization. And the real power about these portals is you can do multiple different types of authentication on them. So people can authenticate using your own internal accounts, your guest accounts, or even public accounts, things like Gmail and Facebook. You are even able to add unauthenticated access into certain pages if you need to. It's very easy for you to embed forms, create self-service portals for both your internal users and your customers. At the same time, we also introduced AI Builder. Now, we've been able to add artificial intelligence to both Canvas-based apps and workflows, but it wasn't natively built into the solution. we've now directly integrated the AI Builder into the Power Apps Studio. So you can build and train your models directly in the studio yourself. Excuse me. Now, you can see the impact that Power Apps has had, or the Power Platform has had on organizations. Your typical organization, those that aren't focused on writing code, this is what your typical skill layout looks like. Majority of the people inside your organization know how to use Word and Excel and PowerPoint. But your traditional development is a very small portion of your population. What Power Apps and Microsoft Flow and even Power BI enabled is the ability to give anyone inside your company the ability to create applications and workflows and even write reports. Even a PA or a receptionist with no technical skills can go to a SharePoint list, click on the Power Apps button, and generate an app. Yes, it's going to be a very basic, simple application, but it's going to be fully functional. And a lot of people have started out with this way. Build an app from data, and then as their skills increase, they can add additional functionality and complexity to it. So, the Power Platform overview. We've got three components. We've got Power BI to help analyze the information that we have in our organization. And just like Power Apps enabled anyone in the organization to be able to build applications, now anyone in the organization can get insights out of the data that they have. All you need to do when you're starting out, import a data source into Power BI. It's got a tool called Insights that's going to start analyzing that information and start pulling out key bits of data so you can start building your dashboards immediately. You also have the ability to query your data using natural language. An example is you could say, show me my sales for 2019. Sort it by country and display it as a map. And it builds out your visualization for you, giving this power to anyone in the organization. Power Apps to act on information, to either capture it or update information, and then Microsoft Flow to automate processes. Now, what's common between all of these items is the built-in connectors to hundreds of other cloud services. So whether you want to attach to a SQL database sitting inside Azure, a SharePoint list sitting inside the Microsoft 365 cloud, or even out to Facebook or Twitter. So you can really extend your apps as much as you want to at the end of the day. Now, the one common thread we found, especially when we brought developers through the platform, getting them to start using the platform, is in the beginning, they were very skeptical. They thought they were going to be limited by the boundaries that encapsulate the platform. They wouldn't be able to do the advanced things that they're used to doing. But once they got to understand it, they saw that they could really augment their own development cycles, be able to do things a lot quicker than they traditionally would have in the past. The biggest challenge, though, application lifecycle management. Developers are used to being able to have this control, being able to check their code out, manage their code, follow the full lifecycle management of this. And it wasn't really possible in the platform. It was, but it was very difficult to do. There were numerous PowerShell scripts that you had to run, other third-party tools, and what we found was no one was really doing it. So what we did is we created some plugins and we added some functionality to Azure DevOps. Now what this gives developers the ability to do is use these capabilities to be able to check out their code, store it in a code source repository, manage that complete life cycle of applications. So now, anyone in the organization, from someone who's working with low code, all the way up to your high code developers, can start getting benefits out of the application. Now, what I'm going to do now is I've got two main demonstrations that I'm going to take you through. One is I'm going to embed a Power App in a Power BI dashboard for real-time updates of the data within that dashboard. Then I'm going to switch over to the business card reader, which is a pre-trained model for us to be able to scan business cards and get the information out of that. Switch over. Okay, so now I've got a very basic Power BI report. This is connecting to a SQL database sitting inside Azure, and I've just got one table that I've got populated here. And what I want to do is I'm going to embed a Power App in this dashboard. Now, the key thing for this to work, when you're importing your data, you need to make sure you are using the direct query option. You get two options when you're pulling in data. Let me pull this up here quickly. You can see here, I've got import and direct query. What import is going to do is import that table into my Power BI instance. So then when I need to refresh it, it's going to go back to that and pull that information back in. What direct query does is every time the dashboard refreshes, it goes to that database and pulls the information back. Now, for this to work, you need to make sure that that direct query is set up. Now, on your Power BI, you should see this visualization for Power Apps for Power BI. If you don't see it there, just click on the ellipses, go import from Marketplace, and just search for the Power BI visualization, or Power Apps visualization. Once we pull it in, we can position it on our dashboard, and now we just need to associate the entities which we want to use. For this, I'm going to select the amounts, the category, and the dates. Now you can see this expense ID that we're using as our anchor field. That is automatically generated and incrementing with every new record we create in the database. From here, you can see it's already chosen an environment for me. So there, Contoso default, that's the environment that it's using. But if you had multiple environments, you could go change it to the one appropriately that you want to make use of. So all we do from here is we go and create new. And what this is going to do is it's going to take us to our Power App Studio. Oh, that's busy. Okay, so the key thing to make sure that this has worked correctly is this Power BI integration portion here underneath the app. If you've got this displayed, then you know that it's working and it's integrated and it's the right type of app for this to work. So what I'm going to do, let's just add a heading to this app. Insert a label. I just want this to display at the top of the screen. And I'm going to call this expense app. Come down, just center the text, and increase the size, and make it bold. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have to add a new screen that's going to help us populate that new information. And for that, I'm going to use a form screen. On here, let me just zoom in a bit. We're going to call this capture screen. And yeah, we've got our form. So what we're going to do with this form is we want to attach it to that same data source that we're using. So on the right-hand side here, all I need to do is go to the data source, and I can search for my connections. Now, I already have the SQL Server connected. You can see there's my connection string there. But if you didn't, you could just go add a connection, put in the details for your SQL database, and connect it up. So here you can see my tables that I have available. I'm going to use that expenses demo table, and I'm going to connect it up. Okay, so now my data source is connected. Next, I need to choose the fields that I want to make use of. And once again, I just go choose the fields that I want to use, ignoring the expense ID again, because that is automatically generated. And you can see there I've got my expense category, expense amount, and expense date in there. And if I wanted to change the order, I could move them around. Now, we just need to make sure we've got a way to get to the screen. So if we come back here, let's go add an icon, bring it across. Why is my label not displaying anything? Oh, that's why. Okay, with my icon, we just want to do a new form because we want to generate a new form and edit form 1. And then navigate to that second screen. Okay, so it's new form and navigate. Then on the second screen, we just need to make sure we can get back to where we were going. So let's hit back. And on the submit form, now this is the key part. Because if I submit this, it's just going to update that record. What we want to do though is we want to make sure that every time we submit a new request, that it forces a refresh on that dashboard. So in order for us to do that, we go in and we add Power BI integration dot refresh. So that means once it's submitted, it's going to go to that report and force all the visualizations to refresh on it. Okay. Now, at the moment, we haven't catered for these other requests to update it, but you would be able to set these up that they can navigate and you can update records that already existed. But for the sake of the demo, we're just going to focus on creating new records. So now that we're done, all we need to do, come in and save our app. Let's call this Power BI demo and save it. Key thing, just like the Power BI dashboard you'll have to share with people inside your organization, you would also need to share this with the people who are opening up that Power BI app for them to be able to see it. Now, if I come back to my dashboard, you can see there's my app. It's already there. Though it doesn't work nicely on the desktop version. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to publish this to Power BI. So all we do is we hit the publish. Yes, make sure we save the changes. Choose a workspace that we're going to make use of. And it's going to publish up to Power BI. It shouldn't take too long. There we go. Now we can go open it up. And there we've got our dashboard. So now I can come in, create a new record, category, I'm going to say, let's go for training. Expense amount, I'm going to say 2,500. And expense dates, let's make it today. And submit. See that update, and you can start to see how the portals update and change. Okay, and let's go do one more just to make sure. Let's do meals. We were having dinner last night, and we spent, let's go 2,000, let's go 4,000, 5,000, so we can see it come through. And this was last night. Go OK. And submit. And you can see there, it updates that dashboard in real time. So now this can add a lot of value. People who are working on Power BI, working with the entities, they can immediately update the information directly there without having to leave the dashboard. Any questions so far on this? Okay. So let's hop over now to the business card reader application. And to start off, what we want to look at is your AI builder. Now, I'm just going to be covering the business card reader in today's session. Yes? The microphone. You can. This is a very responsive UI. Yes, Power Apps. Yeah. It shouldn't look different. It should be the same form. What you're going to do when you are building an application, you're going to build one for the phone layout or for the tablet layout, depending on what your requirement is. There is a way that you can build a responsive app so it can adapt to each one, but that you're not dragging and dropping the items onto the screen. There you've got to work on the X and Y coordinates of your app to populate it that way. Then it can become very responsive. But there are ways to do it. Sorry? Okay. Yeah. Okay, to create pop-ups. Okay, so the question was if are you able to create pop-ups when you click on a button while you are? And you absolutely are. There is a property in the Power App called Visible. So what you can do is you can build your pop-up on your screen and only make it visible under certain conditions. Then when you click a button, that goes and updates a variable, and that's going to pop up your control on there. So it is all possible. If you want, stick around afterwards and I'll show you how. Okay. Yes, sir.
Can you use a Power App and Power BI within the Power BI desktop or only after deploying it?
No. Okay, the question was, can you use the Power BI app in Power BI desktop? You can, but it doesn't work as nice. The refresh takes a bit longer to do. So for the best experience, you want to have it displayed into the browser. Okay. Okay, so with AI Builder, you've got various options inside here where you can start making your own model. We've got a forms processor, object detector, prediction, and text classification. Now with your forms processor, you just need to train it up with a bunch of forms that you have. Get it used to understanding the forms that you want to use. It identifies the key fields, and it will be able to pull the key bits of information out of that. For today's session, I'm not going to cover this, but Mohammed's got a session directly after me. He's going to go into this in detail, as well as the object detection models as well. The key thing around AI Builder, it does leverage the Common Data Service. So you do need to be licensed for the CDS in order to utilize this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to my business card reader. And purely for the sake of time, I've built this app beforehand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through all the steps in order to get this up and running. Now, what I've done with this application is I've got it configured to update the Common Data Service. Inside the CDS, there is an account entity. So this is the CDS, and then I've got my contact entity. And then if I go to the data to view the records in there, these are the records that I have created. So I can see I've got my name in there. I'm going to scan my business card just now, so let me just delete this record. And refresh. Okay, so my name's not there anymore. Here we go. Okay, and yeah, I've got my business card reader. Now, the first option I want to have you have a look at, first control, is this business card reader control. To bring this in, all you need to do is you go Insert, AR Builder, and then we've got the business card reader option there. Click that, it's going to drop it into your app. Now, for this to function, there's nothing else that you need to do. I can click Scan Business Card, it's going to be able to scan it. What I've then done is I've brought in a form, which will be populated with the information that's coming from the business card reader. Now, in order to do that, this form, you can see I've connected to the contacts entity, and I've selected the first name, last name, email, and business phone number. Now, the key thing, when you generate a form, all these cards are going to be locked, so you're not going to be able to control the default property of it. So what you would need to do, select the control, the data card, come to Advanced, and at the top of Advanced, there will be a little lock. Click that lock to unlock the control. Once you have done that, you can come down to More Options, and yeah, by default, go and populate it with the business card reader, and then the value that you want to retrieve. You can see here, there's numerous properties that I can pull out of the business card that I can use for if I wanted to capture them and populate them in the item. But for this case, I'm just going to start off with first name. And you can see I've done the same for last name, email address, and business phone. Now, because this is just a single page and it's just a single form, there's certain things that we have to do to make it, to enable it so I can scan one business card after the other. First one, what I've done is on my scan business card, if I go to the on change property, you can see here, I'm creating a variable. So first variable I create is capture VAR. I'm setting this to false. That'll be important just now. On the form itself, if I go to the on success value, so if this form submits successfully, it is going to set this capture variable to true. I've also got a label down here. It says, okay, your contact has been added. Click Scan Business Card to add another. And this is going back to your point just now around the pop-ups. So this over here, you can see it's currently invisible. But when I submit a new contact, it will be able to pop that up and I will be able to carry on. The other key part over here, you'll see there it's going to generate a new form, which will help this come out. So let's have a look what that looks like on the card. Sorry. Okay, seems to have lost Wi-Fi access on this. Just give me a second. Okay, so there I've got my business card reader. I can open that up. And I can come in and scan this business card. You can see there was nothing else that I needed to do to get it to work with the camera. Just like the camera control in Power Apps, it immediately understands how to interact with it and start using it. So I'm going to take a photo. Get a nice picture there. And then I can decide if I want to use this photo or not. If it looks good, I can go use photo. Now, this is just going to take a second or two. So there you can see it has pulled through my name correctly, it's pulled through my last name correctly, my email address, and my phone number. Now, if I wanted to, I could go in and update this if it maybe didn't get something right. Remember, artificial intelligence is great, but it doesn't get everything 100%. So I have the ability to update this now if I wanted to. All I need to do now, go add contact. There you can see I've got that pop-up that's come up at the bottom of the screen. And if I wanted to, I could go scan an additional card. Let's do the same card again, see if it'll pick it up. Use photo. And you can see there it's generated the form there again for me. Okay. So this way, we're able to capture that information and store it in the common data service. So you can see that one was a bit of a bad scan. Wasn't able to pick up the details correctly. It was able to pull through my name and my surname, and I can go pre-populate the email address and that if I wanted to. But now if I switch over, I can go refresh my common data service, and you can see there my entity is created directly from there. Okay. Thank you. Hello? Test. Okay, perfect. Okay. The last bit that I want to touch on quickly. Okay, the last bit that I want to touch on quickly is the Power Apps portals. So here is the portal editor. Now, when you build out a new portal, it does take some time to build out, so be aware of that. You've got two options. When you come through, you can see I've got my demo portal, and then I've got my portal management. So these are two key areas that you're going to be working with. So yeah, you can see this is very much similar to working with your model-driven apps. So you're going to create your sitemap, and inside here you can see I've got my various websites, pages, content. I can go update the security, choose how I want users to sign in and access my site. And then I've got my entity view. So if I wanted to create any forms, any additional views, any charts, any dashboards, I would be able to bring those in here. Now, when I get to the portal itself, yeah, you can see I can pull this in and update it. I can go update the URL. I can also go and update various pages within this. And these templates we're able to pre-populate if we wanted to. Give this a second to pull out. See there, demos built out. Spelling's not great. And you can see it's a very similar experience like you worked with SharePoint. So you can drag and drop items into the screen, lay it out the way you want to. When you're happy with it, you can come in and browse the website. And there we've got our website that's live and running. Now, you are limited to 5 portals per tenant. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are building these out. Doesn't matter how many environments you have, you can only have 5 portals per tenant. And this name has to be unique. So you can see it's got that powerappsportals.com, and then that my demo, that's the URL that you're going to populate it with. And that's got to be unique throughout the ecosystem. And you can see I can come in, have a look at the services, jump onto the other pages, and I've got a full web page out that I've built and used inside there. There we go. Okay, so you've now seen how Power Apps and Flow has evolved over the last couple of years. Seen some AI Builder. If you want to have a look at the forms processor, please stick around for the next session. Mohammed's going to take you through that. If you want to find out more about the Microsoft Technology Centers, please stick around as well. I will be available to answer questions. We have some other MTC TAs also available to assist. I will also be delivering a demonstration tomorrow on the importance of identity in the cloud world, doing some demonstrations around privileged identity management, password list sign-on, hardware token sign-on, identity secure score, and so on. So please stick around for that. These sessions are all being recorded, so you will be able to access them off of the Ignite portal at a later stage. Okay. Thank you everyone for your time. I hope you found this session valuable. Really appreciate it.